You're either really gonna like me after this video, or you're never gonna watch me again after this, or you're gonna leave hate comments after every video that I make after this. But I need to talk about people who play Fromsoft games and people who leave comments on the internet spouting bullshit when it makes no sense. So we're gonna look at the average player base for Nightreign currently, right? So far, a lot of people still playing the first boss. That's cool. A lot of people have lives and jobs. Phenomenal. I'm happy for you. But because if you have a job, 99% of the times that player is going to be bad, and that's okay. He has a job. He's providing for whoever he needs to provide for. That's cool. But when that same person goes online and he goes to make this elitist comment because he happened to play every other Dark Souls game, or he beat Elden Ring, he has 200 hours on his 99th guts build, saying, oh, you're not supposed to do this in this game, or you're not supposed to play this way. You can't use a mimic tier because that's not the real way to play the game. It's like, bro, shut up. I don't care. I'm gonna play the game the way I want, because how am I gonna let you tell me and you don't know what the fuck you're doing either? Because guess what? Having 200 hours in Elden Ring doesn't mean you are good at the game. Playing every Dark Souls game and beating all of them, again, doesn't mean you're good at the game. You can beat every single Dark Souls game and you can still suck ass. You know why? Because it's how you play the game. It's what you did in the game. It's if you had any online interactions. It's if you understand the game mechanically. It's not just enough to sit there behind a fingerprint shield and use a great rapier and say you beat the game at level 1. Wow, whoop-de-fucking-do, congrats. It's almost like anyone could do that, because guess what? That's not challenging. You're not understanding anything about the game. You're not understanding how mechanics work, how animations work. Like, for example, if you get knocked down and you see a person who's about to rush you, how you can actually wait on the ground to maximize your iframes when you do your get up roll, because your get up roll has different invincibility frames compared to a normal roll, which a lot of people don't know that. But again, you would know that if you actually played the games with channels like G9, Saint Riot, Chase the Bro. They actually know what they're doing and talking about. So it's like, cool, boom. If they were to make anything online, I would respect what they're saying about Fromsoft games in general, because they understand what they're talking about. When I see people like Craze Gaming or like Rage Gaming make these generic ass tips like, oh, if you eat food in real life and you're hungry, you're not gonna starve. Like, holy shit, thanks, I didn't know that. And then people are just eating the tips up like, oh wow, thanks for telling me that if I go to the tutorial, I'm gonna learn this about this character. Bro, figure it the fuck out. Go to the tutorial. Like, it's there. What are you doing? It's just so annoying seeing people like rely on tips like it's a lifeline, because back in games like DS3 and DS2 and freaking Bloodborne, you just didn't have guides like that. So players for the most part had to learn through trial and error, which made for a more fun and rewarding experience when you actually learn and improve. I just don't like seeing people have to rely on tips and guides all the time to be like, oh wow, thank you, I would never figure this out. It's like, bro, come on. And this is relevant because those same people are gonna come to channels like mine and a bunch of other people who are doing creative and different unique things that other bigger channels aren't doing currently, and the moment we do something that's different from, oh, I'm gonna put out a 10 tips video about the most generic things ever, they're gonna be like, oh, actually this tip doesn't make any sense because Craze Gaming didn't say this. Like, oh my gosh, if you want to fucking live with the guy, then just go and live with him. Like, holy shit. I will use a video I just made as an example, and I'm not trying to have a pity party. I don't care. I don't want any of that, because like, I know what I know. I'm not here to gain any sympathy from no one. I'm just making build videos so I can show people, oh, this is another way you can play the game. I'm not saying that's the only way to play it. I'm not saying that, oh, this is gonna be the best way. I'm just saying, oh, this is a cool thing I found because I understand stats and I understand how the game can be played. This is something cool you could do that you probably haven't thought of. That's why I make the build videos that I make. That's why I do the things that I do, at least on this channel, because I like to show people different perspectives.
We're gonna do a test, right? On how close you need to be to hit the maximum damage range. I'm on my PS5 controller mic, so if you don't like the quality, too bad. I'm hitting for 68. This is the maximum damage I can hit on my bow, right? Okay, now we're gonna back up a little bit. 68 there still. 68 there still, nice. Immediately right here, you're gonna see damage drop-offs to 58, okay. 53. A little further back, you go to 43. The damage drop-off is much more significant the further away you are. Even from here, 34. The damage is gonna keep dropping off, and guess what? This is the distance I see most Iron Eye players at. That is why you need to be close to the enemy so you can be hitting max damage. And that's also why you have this skill, so you can proc the weakness point. Guess what? Oh, it's almost like my bleed assassin build, does the same thing and can maximize the damage because he's supposed to be decently close to the enemy. And that's why he's doing more stagger, because he has a melee weapon, so he can be attacking them up close if he needs to, and then get out of harm's way with that and still be in the effective range. That's why that build makes sense. It's not that I'm making up bullshit or that the build is not effective. It literally makes sense because it's playing to the Iron Eye's strengths, using the marking skills to get out of harm's way, making them weaker, making more weakness procs, and you're also getting more blood procs because you're attacking them with your weapon when you're close to them. When you do this to either jump in and then begin to hit them, or you can use that to escape, and then you can still hit them with your bow. And if you have bleed on your bow, it's going to be doing even better because you're also marking the weakness proc. This is not no bullshit. I'm telling you the truth. Like, it's not bad. I have a B in Arcane. Look, I'm going to show you an example. So unfortunately, you can't get a bow that's infused with bleed in the tutorial, but it's going to be the exact same concept. So look, oh, I have, guess what? Look, 13 wins. Like, I play the game a lot. I'm not making nonsense up. This build got me a 4-win streak. Like, I'm not just making this shit up. And one of those games was me playing solo with the build, and I still won. So going to Iron Eye, he has a B in Arcane and an A in Dexterity. Those are very good stats to be doing good weapon damage if you have a weapon that has high dex scaling, or if you're using something that has Arcane. Both him and the Executor can play in similar ways because they have high Dexterity and high Arcane. You might think, oh, but B is low in Arcane. You know what else has a B in Arcane? The Rivers of Blood. A B in Dexterity, one of the best weapons in the game. And a D in Arcane, one of the best weapons in the game. That's one. Blasphemous Blade, a weapon a lot of people like. A B in Faith, and it's still really good. That's the point. It doesn't need to be a fucking S like the Executor. Just because the Executor has an S in Arcane, okay, he will be proccing more. He has an X in Dexterity. He's going to be doing more damage if he's using something that scales with both of those. I'm not saying that the Iron Eye is going to be out damaging them. I'm saying that he can be played in a very similar way because just like how the weapons have a B in that scaling for that stat, a character that has a B in that stat doesn't mean that they're bad. They can use that weapon decently effectively, pretty well actually. A B and A is like really good. I was using Rivers of Blood on Iron Eye and I was hitting pretty similar damage numbers to, guess what, the Executor. You wanna know why? Because a B and an A is not bad. I'm saying this because people think that just because it's not a fucking S or you're not playing the way that the class is intended, oh, this is immediately bad, you can't do this, not viable. How did I get a 4-win streak on a class that's, oh, not viable if I'm using a melee weapon? Oh no, he's using a melee weapon, you can't do that because that's not going to be effective. Okay, well, if I'm not being effective, then why is it that when you're playing, half the time other fucking Iron Eyes are so far away I can't even see them? I'm wondering if they're still in the game because they're not contributing much to the match, because you know why? They're not close enough to the target to be hitting those weakness procs. And guess what? Before you write that comment, if that isn't you, then don't write the comment because you don't apply to that problem. Congrats. My whole point is that you can play melee just as effectively this way, and you're shooting, and then if he starts to charge at you, you pop your ult because it has iframes, you're popping the weakness thing, you're going back in, and then you're doing this while he's staggered, and you're getting bleed procs, and then you go back away the moment he starts hitting you, and you start to do this again. You're doing so much damage. Like, I don't know if like how that doesn't register with some people, but it's so weird. Like, bro, this is effective. This makes sense. He has a lot of Arcane and a lot of Dexterity. And before you say, oh no, but I played Elden Ring, I beat all of the Fromsoft games. If you have a job, immediately you're bad at the game because you don't have the time to really understand the game the way other people do. And hey, I have a job and I still can say that I understand the game because one, I have 2,000 hours across the whole Soul series. I'm not saying that to say, oh, I'm this big elitist. I don't really care. But what I will tell you is that if someone tries to fucking tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about after I've made countless builds, tens of hundreds of thousands of hours in Dark Souls 3, making 10 different character builds on one account and then 3 different on another account, making all PvP and PvE builds, testing different stats and timings and fucking everything about the game. Like, I know what I'm talking about, and I'm telling you that a B in scaling is not bad. That's going to be helping you to proc, and this is a very viable way to play the game. Just as how you are very free to express your opinion on how you receive the video, I have the same measure in telling you that if you think that this makes no sense, then you're just wrong and dumb.
So guys, I appreciate you watching the video. I'm not angry towards anyone. I'm just passionately hating on dumb opinions that I find stupid. I have the freedom to find it stupid because you have the same freedom to find me stupid, and we can both not care. If you want to see more content, not like this, but similar to my build video, subscribe.